right, how you doing, Mr. Feliciano?
How are you?
All right. When you think of dance and what it means to people as a group and as, you know, individuals, you see it sometimes being like a selfish thing, meaning that, you know, it's about me or about my skills and my skill set, and I can do this and I can do that. But you have managed to keep longevity by being a selfless person, and I would like to indulge in you being selfless and helping a lot of dancers from the youth all the way up to the veterans. Can you give me a little background how you were able to manage, you know, being a successful dancer yourself as an individual, and then you know,
parlay that into sharing that and spreading that knowledge of what worked for me. Well, to start off on what you said is, well, hello, and thank you for having me, and doing this interview. I appreciate it. Well, first I have to start off, like, what is losing the essence in dance is that people are forgetting that this is all about dancing in a club and actually trying to be able to dance so you can dance with a girl. That's a foundation I think that has been lost in the new generation in general, because everybody's trying to show off. Now, don't get me wrong, that is the idea. That's kind of like the premises. You're like, look what I got. But the thing is how you take that and the attitude that comes with that, which is like, yeah, when I dance, you should be like, I am the best. That's what the whole idea is when you're on stage. The problem today is I think people are taking that off stage with them and believing the hype and don't realize that basically you're just as good as your last gig. And that doesn't matter what gig it is, because you do a gig and then that's over. What are you doing now? So how does that parlay for me into where the world is today? Now, I never set out to dance. I'm a club kid from New York, and that's what's gotten me to where I am now. You know, I'm a hustler dancing and not a dancer hustling. And I love what I do, and I love to dance. It's something that was just a natural thing that you did around the way. You know, you either dance, you DJ'd, or you sold drugs. So I DJ'd and danced, you know. So how that parlays into how the kids are doing today. Now, you know, someone helped me. Like, I got into Broadway Dance Center because of a girl named Marlon Zaki, and I was on a totem pole. But once I got my foot in, I did what I had to do to be able to get other classes. And I got my classes after I got in through Marlon Zaki. I spoke to Rhapsody and Jermaine, and they let me sub for them a whole summer. And then from there, I got my own classes. So I'm bringing that point up because it's like each one teach one and each one should help one. Like, there's enough for everybody, and like there is somebody better than you or does it different than you. That's just a given. You have to understand that. So if you have that embrace, it allows you to stay in your lane and know what's good for you and not worry about what's in the next man's pockets and not worry about what the next man is doing. So that's what helps me to get to where I am in my 20 years, going into my 21st year of my career, living off dance only. I haven't done anything else, and that is a blessing from God. So I appreciate that every day, with the good and bad times that comes with, because it's hard to live off dance. And I tell these kids, if you don't have the skin for this, go back to school, because if not, you ain't gonna make it. It's just hard. So with that said, I feel like I have no problem trying to help somebody and saying, yo, you need a class, and giving them an opportunity. But if they don't come up to bar, those opportunities go and come. Like, you know, there's you have to find a fine line between, look, it's just not gonna work for you. You know, you gotta find something, I can't do nothing more without losing yourself. Because it's self, if I'm not all right, I can't be all right for anyone. So I gotta make sure that I'm always in place, so that's where I can help them and do that. So I don't mind helping because somebody helped me.
And why do you feel that this generation has lost that? Is it because the generation before, you know, didn't show them, or you think? Because to me, that's what you're saying is common. This is not rocket science.
Right.
It should be. It's common sense. It just makes complete sense when I hear it. That, oh, if I got this, I should help the next dancer. Yo, we're all in this together. Like, it's, you know, It's not a race, because there's nothing actually to get except just peace of mind.
Exactly. And you know why? You know why it's a problem? Because it's simplicity at its best. And sometimes simplicity can be very hard. People don't understand that. But that's going into a whole nother topic of a state of mind and understanding of who you are and what your purpose is, or whatever, if you know that. But I don't think it's so much the generation before then. It could be. What happens with the generation before, and you find that in the industry, it'd be dance, or it'd be DJs, or it'd be rappers, or whatever. It's like everybody's like, "Where's my check?" You know, you paved the way for these people to do what they're doing now. Now, is somebody being grateful? Do they have to? Really, actually, no one has to. That has to come from your heart if you want to get back. But no one actually owes nothing because of the perseverance of what they did. Now, if they feel they owe something, yeah, that would be the right, that's cool, that's a great thing, but to each his own, so people can't really judge that. It's like, okay, well, if that's you, and that's not me to feel bad about, like, if you don't give back, what do you want me to do? You can't do anything about that. But what I've noticed too, because I hear, like, even within the seniors, the wisers here, somebody's trying to claim, we started this, we started that. The truth always prevails, so that speaks for itself. So when I feel that when someone has to actually voice that they did something, there's some kind of insecurity about the state that they're in now, that they have to solidify themselves by verbally reiterating on that. You understand what I mean? Yes. So, and that goes without saying names, but there's a lot of them, and I hear so much stuff, but I don't get into that rhetoric. Could it be because I never set out to dance professionally, and yet it landed in my lap, and I'm 20 years living off it? Maybe that's why I have the attitude I have. Maybe it could be just like, why are you even wasting energy in that? Do what you do.
Yes.
So I would say it might be part, to answer your question, part of it is the generation prior to that, but then there's also the disrespect from these little kids of nowadays. We're like, what, that? They call that, let's say, I got a perfect example. They say 80s hip-hop is old school, all right? And then they have this new term, I don't agree with, because me, it's either hip-hop or it's not, new school. So now my thing is, now when that passes, what are you going to be saying? Oh, that's new old school when the next thing comes out? I really want to find out the solution to that one. What's going to happen? Oh, you do new old school? It's stupid. Yeah. So I always say this to sum up hip hop in one word: it's constant change. That's all it is. It's an evolution. So some people for me, it's all movement, and I like the abstract because I like all different kinds of movement because that coincides with my retardation of how I like to do things sometimes. But as far as people trying to grasp it and stay relevant and how the new school is, because this is a young thing. It comes to a point where you are not relevant, or you have to find out how you maintain your relevance without losing who you are. Like, you shouldn't be a grown-ass man, wearing a big, thick gold chain because it's fashion, big, colorful sneakers or whatever. Like, you got to find your moderation within going into your transition, let alone the personal things that you're dealing with getting older.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Not only have you taken on the duty of helping to uplift the youth in your community and communities abroad in the U.S., you've also traveled outside and worked with a nonprofit outside of the United States. Can you give me a little brief history on that?
Yes, I worked with a company called D1 Dance. It's a nonprofit organization in Peru, and I met the girl here. She took class with me, and she loved the class. She had a great time because my class is the theme is like no stress. Come and have fun. It's not that serious. It's better to learn a little bit of a lot than a lot of nothing. And you take that in stride, and that mechanics and that fundamental goes in any class, not just mine. So she talked to me, and I was like, yeah, she said, and she sold the whole package to me. Can you come for like 3 weeks? All I have is this money, and I'll send you to Machu Picchu and Cusco, and I'm into like the pyramids and ancient civilization and stuff like that. So I went. And I didn't even go to Machu Picchu because I said, you know what, hey, maybe next time I'll go to Machu Picchu because I want to stay and work with the kids. These kids didn't even know how to count music. They were working on sand dunes, and it was an incredible. I even had a breakdown. I went in the corner and just cried, and I was like, because I had a moment because it was so appreciative, and to see that and how that went, and then I felt it, and. So I stayed and I didn't go to Machu Picchu, and I've been working with them for 6 years, and I'm going again now in July. I helped them. It's a good thing to give back, and they appreciated it so much that it was a great trip, and it's a great feeling to be able to do that because that's how I feel like, once again, somebody helped me, so I should be able to help the best way I can. Now, I can't always do it. I'm not a rich man. I'm over here grinding every day. I'm as good as my last gig. So I'm constantly trying to move forward, even where I am in the game with my age and where I am, just trying to stay in this business and stay relevant.
Do you feel that, I know you probably feel this way, but looking at that and dealing with the kids over here, do you see the difference in how overly blessed we are and just, do you think that where do you think the lack of appreciation comes? It's like an epidemic. Like, it is crazy. Yes. We are raising some crazy people, and when I say crazy, I'm not saying crazy like, demented. Just to be saying, like, it's really insane, for the lack of appreciation that we give each other within our culture, period. Not even just dance, just period, because we treat all of our people like that. We treat our dancers that way, we treat our artists that way, and then when they die, then it's, oh my God, like, you would just
watch the train. You watched the train crash while it was happening, and then
but then you just, everybody, you're crying over it. It's just, and it happens all the time. I remember when Whitney died, I didn't even really say anything because I knew I was one of those people making fun of the situation. I would have felt like a hypocrite if
you were like,
Whitney, or she would, nah, let me just, God bless her.
And God rest her soul in
And
peace.
then you just see everybody on Facebook and just everything, Whitney, but
When she was running around wild, you was making fun.
wasn't saying anything, and it just happens, and our kids do the same. They do what they see. Everything is learned behavior.
Yep.
So do you see that?
I'm gonna give you the perfect example. Like speaking of that, especially in Peru, like that was the first year I went there, and then I went to their hood where they live, and like there's an air about them because they feel like in Peru, it's classism. You either have money or you don't. There's like no middle stage, and these kids working stoplights and trying to make their money, and so we went to their hood. And they, like I said, they were practicing on sand dunes. Some of them had to go up on top of the hill to get water, bring back to their house, which is like kind of a shack sort of thing. And I was like, so what you want to do? What you here for? I was like, I'm here hanging out with you. What you do? Like, because they I got their respect because I was like, look, I ain't going to have all of that. I'm in the same place as you. I'm just in a different state of poverty. So easy. But what I must say is going there is like, I will say that I never not have again. I won't say I don't have because there's other people that have really bad. So a bad day for me is still riches for them. And so to coincide now what's going on here, I think for me personally, it all starts at home. Like I've broken my own chains, and I'm breaking that within my kids that go in. So my thing is I can only educate that. I can only try to take them to the water, but I can't make them drink. So my thing is, I think it comes from home. So if you see your mother or father running around in the same circle, they're going to run around in the same circle unless they get to a point and they make a choice. It's like there has to be a better way. Like that was my case. My mother was a single parent, worked very hard, but worked for the Department of Labor, like grew up, she took care of 3 boys, on her own. But once again, there's certain things that she just said, I'm Puerto Rican, my mother's from Puerto Rico, I was born in New York, but there's certain things that I saw as I grew up, but she always did the best for me and put me in the right direction. So what I did was I was able to get to a point where I am breaking chains that might have been up until the point of my mother, where I've broken them so they can move forward with my daughter and her generations to come and her kids. So that's something that I stay important on, that I stay on, think about constantly, because this is how we're going to be able to move forward as a people. So, and this is the problem. These chains are not being broken. We're being, now don't get me wrong, I like nice things too, and I work hard for them. But the thing is, they're not being taught to work hard for what they want. Or like there's no one there to guide them with that energy that they have to direct them, that energy when they're dancing or when they're doing something positive to direct them correctly. Like, and it's all right, we're all trying to eat. So if you're going to eat, but at least eat in a way like where you can show others how to eat too. There's this greed and there's all this hate about what one has and what the other doesn't have and this and that. And okay, that's always going to be around, but there has to be a moderation with that where it develops into something more positive. And that's where it's lacking. And like you said, it's crazy.
Okay, and the final question. Do you think dance is going to end up being an overseas type worldly thing? Do you think that...
dance?
Yes. Do you, or are we ever going to be, since everything pretty much came from, here, well, not came from here, but everything got defined here in the States. Do you think we'll ever be able to be, in a position to where we not dictate, but we're the one giving the guidance? Or do you think overseas has taken it and they're going to just be running wild with it? And
well, the thing is, the only thing I can say about that, nobody, I don't care where you're from, and it born's here, and even if the generations continue in other countries, that swag is always here in New York. It's from here. It ain't going nowhere else. It's an American thing. So I can say that. But from the ignorance also, in the same breath that we have here in America, that's what allows others to eat off our backs, black, white, Chinese, whatever, because of the perseverance and the discipline they may have. Now, everyone like that is not here, but I'm speaking in general, but it'll be like that. Will it ever be taken over? No, because this is the birthplace of that. So this is one thing we can say, that it'll be the constant birth of swag here. Now, it's about how you direct that swag, because this has been going on. We've been funking since from the 30s, since all the time. There's always been a swag within the ethnic community. That's always going to be like that. Are we going to prosper from it one day? I hope I'm still living to see that. That's the only thing I can see, because I can't foresee it. The way you see the ignorance, the way it's going on now, you can't really tell, but that's been ignorance that's been before my time. So all I can only is wish for that to happen. And the only thing I could say, just to go into the other thing that I wanted to mention, with like the Lesperado production company that I started, like it enables me to reach out and be able to get brothers overseas, because for years, like for 10 years, I've been trying to help like the Mount Boys, for instance. I was like, yo, with the resumes you got, you need to start going overseas and start doing this so you can do it. And it's just now, after all those years, I just sent Adrian to Peru, and he's just starting to get out. And like, yo, I want to get that same sort of, vibe and money and travel. And he said even like, yo, I just want to travel and see the world. Yeah. So, I'm trying to expose him to see, because when you see how other cultures lives, you can understand a little bit more the ignorance that's going on in your own culture.
Yes. All right. Thank you for your time, sir.
No, thank you.
I appreciate it. Look forward to a more in-depth interview.
Yeah.
All right, the next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Shout outs to Dance Mogul Magazine.
Thank you. Thank you.